morning, everybody. Welcome to Business Over Breakfast. My name is Ben Barber.
My name is Laura Gittari. Do more of what makes you happy. Business Over Breakfast makes me happy.
Cheers. I actually have a drink.
Cheers.
I actually have a drink today. It's a vanilla chai. It's an almond milk vanilla chai from Junk and Java in Westerly, which is like we get this like once every other week. Not this, but we get Junk and Java like once every other week for the whole family for breakfast, and it's my favorite day of the month every time.
Really? So what does Junk and Java sell besides chai?
So they are a coffee shop. They have tons of specialty coffees, drinks, milkshakes, lattes, protein shakes, and then food. They have the most delicious breakfast sandwiches in the world on I get mine on cheddar chive biscuits usually, which is just phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a sausage, egg, and cheese on a cheddar chive biscuit. It's amazing.
Oh my God.
They have great muffins. They have donuts. They have they're awesome. And they're a really chill place too. So I discovered them. I didn't discover that my roommate Allie went all the time and stuff, but I only started getting Junk and Java during the pandemic. So I haven't gone in and hung out, but it's a really great place to go in as well. So
I know
next time you're in town, check it out.
For Junk and Java. Love it. Hey, Ben, before we get on to our guests today. Oh, we have two guests today.
I don't think that's allowed.
Well, you'll see. It's a little bit of a surprise. But before we move on, I wanted to acknowledge your new business.
Oh my God.
I don't know if 321 Media. I love it. My biggest input to 321 Media, that's it, right? 321 Media?
321 Media, yeah.
Was the logo. I voted on the logo and I love it.
You did. You were one of a handful of people that I sent the logo options to. So thank you very, very much for that. Yeah, 321 Media. You can find us. Hold on, let me.
Yeah.
I've never typed this out.
It's so important to just say, okay, let's make sure that as much well-wishing that comes, we do this for the businesses on Shop Local Rhode Island, for the businesses that we bring on here, but you have your own business too, and we have our business. So we got to spread the wealth.
Thank you very much. You can check us out at 321.media. I misspelled it.
I know. I was like, that's an intro.
I'm not good on caffeine. I don't drink coffee. I barely drink tea. I'm not great on caffeine. 321.media is the website.
Very cool.
So check that out. And also you can follow us on Instagram, 321.media, at 321.media, at 321media on Facebook, at 321media on LinkedIn.
Very cool.
Anyway, thank you so much, Lori.
So let's bring on our first guest. Which is she is the marketing associate at Visual Thrive, my business, and I invited her to come on. Well, let's bring Danielle on. Danielle Thomas just went from part-time to full-time over the summer with Visual Thrive.
Danielle Thompson.
Sorry. Thompson. Oh man! Misspelling, misspeaking. Yeah. Mornings are hard.
Mornings are very hard. This show happens too early in the morning, Lori.
It's too early. Danielle Thompson, graduate of Fairfield University, our marketing associate, my right-hand person. She's doing great. So Danielle, we are going to invite you to the show today. Welcome.
Well, I'm excited. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to let you say a few words and tell us who our guest is.
Yeah, so as Lori said, I'm Danielle, and I'm a marketing associate at Visual Thrive, and I also do a lot of the back-end work on Shop Local Rhode Island. So if you are a member of Shop Local Rhode Island, you have probably been dealing with me. But today we welcome my longtime friend, Will, from Oceanside Antiques in Newport. So, yeah.
We just gave you center stage, girl.
I know.
Yeah, I just got surprised about what happened. Okay, still on.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Silva.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Will. How are you?
Hey,
Good.
Will.
How are you guys?
Good.
Pretty,
Yeah.
pretty energetic this morning.
This guy's a little more energetic than me. I got to get the energy up a little bit.
This is a little bit higher energy than the show usually is. I think.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. So, Danielle, who is this guy, Will Silva?
So this is Will. Will and I have known each other for a long time. We're really good family friends. Will this summer just opened Oceanside Antiques in Newport. And Will, he has a few products on Shop Local Rhode Island, which is, I think, different for an antique shop. So Will, if you want to.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. So it was honestly my longtime dream to open a shop just like I have now. It was about 7 years ago. I started working at the Armory Antique Center that used to be on Thames Street in downtown Newport. And I started working there when I was 18. And the job was a lot like you could bring stuff in and you flip different items and things like that. So you go to yard sales, you can go to flea markets, auctions, different things like that. And you bring the items in and you try and turn a profit. So I was paid weekly, but I also ended up renting a lot of space within the store. And that's how I started to build a lot of business doing flipping items just like that.
Where did the interest come before you went to the Armory?
Oh, yeah, way before. It was, I collected just things. I was really fascinated with the idea of treasure when I was little, like 2, 3 years old. So I'd always go to the beach and pick up sea glass and shells and stuff. And I always thought it was, and my dream was to find like a treasure chest of gold and stuff like that. So I was always interested in things that were worth money. It was like this interest in.
Do you have one of those little beach buzzer things?
Yeah, I metal detected when I was
metal
little.
detector.
I found a lot of cool stuff. I did a lot of metal detecting on the beaches throughout Rhode Island. Rhode Island's just so rich in history too that the stuff that you can find all throughout Narragansett Bay is just crazy. I've found just a lot of unbelievable stuff. I found like full crates
I want to hear like the coolest thing you ever found.
All right. So the coolest stuff I've ever found was actually up in, it's on Prudence Island. So Prudence Island's right in the middle of Narragansett Bay. And so for people who don't know, Narragansett Bay it was a huge shipping lane. It still is. It's a huge shipping lane that goes right up to Providence. So in the early days, a lot of people would just throw trash right off the boat because no one knew any better back to like 1800s, early 1900s. And so all that trash a lot of it was glass, so like bottles and full crates and metal objects. And because Narragansett Bay, there's not a lot of sand on any of the beaches in Narragansett Bay. If you notice, you got to get out to the ocean for it to be sand. It's a lot of mud. So mud preserves items where sand destroys. So you could, I would go to Prudence Island in this little cove called Potter's Cove. This is where I really started getting the interest for antiques and just collectibles and
I think
I don't want to say artifacts.
I think a lot of Rhode Islanders know Potter's Cove because that's kind of where the boats hang out. And
it's really a treasure trove because things get things get caught up in that cove because it goes directly up to Providence. Like there's that's where a lot of the ships would go right past to get into Providence. Yeah. So a lot of stuff would get caught up in there, and I've been able to find just, I think probably one of the coolest things I ever found was a full crate of Warwick Club ginger ale bottles that there were still 3 bottles in the crate completely preserved from I think the date was 1913. And I found 3 bottles still in the crate preserved in the mud, just snorkeling up in the bay like that.
And what did you do with them?
I sold them. I was like, I think I was like 16 or 17 when I found them. And then when I started working at the Armory Antique Center and I had the space or I had a venue to sell a lot of the stuff I found, I brought them in and I sold them within like 3 days to a collector for a few $100. So it was, the idea of going and finding stuff like that and then turning into money just made me more crazy about it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, and that's what got me into just searching and finding and then flipping things. all part of the hunt.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
So when you're doing these searching and flipping, is it all antiques, or are you do you have like the mind for the arbitrage of anything, and like you go garage sailing and you're and like look for anything to flip, or is it specifically antique? Has it always been specifically antiques for you?
So it's always been it's a mix of everything. I got really into to coins, so I think when I would start going around to shows and local auctions. I would put ads out on Facebook being like, do you have anything you're like people are looking to sell? And I would educate people on what they have. And then I'd be like, if you're willing to sell, I can give you this price, blah, blah, blah. That's when in my later years, when I got good at knowing what values are for stuff. And then I would just go around and that's how I would find a lot of the stuff is through social media. People are looking to get rid of stuff. Facebook Marketplace was huge. I do shows every weekend where I find stuff and buy, sell, trade, all different things like that. I got really into sports memorabilia. It was in my later years too, because I'm really into sports. So capturing like moments in sports history was really cool for me, and getting all the.
How do you get trained on that? Like, how do you go? Are there schools and training for how you can evaluate the cost or value of something?
So there isn't. It's I got really educated just by looking up YouTube video, like watching YouTube videos and stuff like that, and just being interested in things altogether. Knowing, like, I sell such a variety of items that it's almost like mind-numbing. Like anything from like comics, sports cards, coins, artwork, jewelry, just. And then when I started working at the Armory Antique Center, my boss, she would take me around to local cleanouts because they did a lot of mansion cleanouts in the area.
Yeah.
And that really got me educated on the stuff that I wasn't as familiar with, which would be more like jewelry, things like grandfather clocks, pieces of furniture, what era you could tell if a piece of furniture is new or old, the name on it. The same with jewelry. If the gold is real, if the diamond is real.
Yeah.
What the quality of it is. And
so
I got
how about you pay us in that ring that's on Shop Local Rhode Island right now?
Oh, yeah. That's an amazing piece.
That ring it's a kind of outrageous. So can you tell us a little bit? Ben, can we bring that up?
I was gonna say a second ago when he was talking about the sports memorabilia, that he got into, that there's a Rodney Harrison jersey on the Shop Local homepage right now that's super interesting to me. So before I do this, let's just throw up that we're at shoplocalrhodeisland.com if you want to check out all of this stuff. And here we go, new products, and there's Oceanside Antiques is right on the homepage. And where is this ring?
Right
there it is.
Center. It's amazing. So where did this ring come from?
So what I do within the store is I also lease spaces out for different dealers to sell, like a consignment shop, how you would pay rent monthly for being able to sell your items. This ring came from a jewelry store owner in Poughkeepsie, New York, who I've known for a long time when he was a seller at the Armory as well. But this is, I believe it's mid-1800s, and it's an Art Deco style, which gorgeous. Is, with that filigree design, which is just, was super sought after at the time, because it's a piece of artwork, really, because of all the fine craftsmanship that went into I believe it's white gold.
And those are real diamonds?
Yeah, they're 100% real. You can actually even tell, if you're ever trying to tell if a diamond is real, you can tell by the clarity, and it's almost like if you're staring straight into the diamond, you can see almost like a cubic shape to all, and they're all exactly the same, where you can see, like, I'm trying to get a good description here. It's like all those little cubes that if you stare really close at it are almost all the same size, and you can almost see veins going through the stone. Because a lot of times a cubic zirconium, which is what fake diamonds are, they won't have any veins and they won't have any rhythm to it like a stone would.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's how you can tell by just staring right into the stone. And then you can tell the quality of it too. And you can tell that those are super high quality diamonds in it.
That's fascinating. So what about the jersey, Ben?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me go back.
Did you want to buy this jersey? Is that-
Yeah, so let's look at this.
So this, I'm going to guess that the sports memorabilia is coming from your shop, your.
Yep. Yeah. So that's like a lot of my personal items.
Mhm.
So for the jerseys, a lot of times I will get them at local shows, especially a Patriots jersey like this one is. I picked this up at a local show up in Dedham, Mass. And a lot of people will come up with all these items that they've maybe had in the family or that they've collected over the years. And this happened to be a piece that someone had over the, I don't even know how long he had it, probably like 10 or 15 years or so.
Yeah.
And I got it authenticated myself because a lot of times when people have these jerseys, maybe they got signed at a local event, a charity event, or a practice, or and this one I got authenticated by Beckett Grading. So that is a big factor in selling autographs. Is I personally never sell an autograph that's not authenticated by a major company.
Nice.
Because you never know. Even though I know or I personally believe it's real, you can't ever just tell someone that with an autograph.
I think like if you're running a business, that's important for your customers to know.
Right, to have confidence
in your
in what they're
business
buying.
and know that they're going to get the right stuff.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about your business. You started this business and you consign space out to other vendors, and you just opened the business in this past summer.
I did. Yeah. So I started leasing the space I have back in late May. And it took me a few weeks to get all my licenses squared away with the city of Newport. And
tell us where you're located.
I am located on 8 Freebody Street in Newport, Rhode Island, right across from the Tennis Hall of Fame. So the Tennis Hall of Fame's on Bellevue. I'm the street right behind it on Freebody.
Oh, nice.
For people because it's a little tucked off the main drag. So, but you can see my sign if you're looking right down Freebody Street. I have a nice sandwich board where you can see antiques with an arrow. So you'll know I'm right down there. But yeah, I opened mid-July and finally, and it's been going pretty strong since. So, and I lease space out, I consign, and I sell a lot of my own personal items throughout the store. So that's how it kind of keeps a good cash flow going.
That's really cool. Well, I thank Danielle for bringing your products on to Shop Local Rhode Island. And so how did you make out this summer?
It was very strong. Ever since the hurricane. So Hurricane Henry came through, and it's slowed down a lot since then. I think a lot of people, but it's starting to gain steam again. Actually, the shop's been busy all morning. People have been coming in and out of my office all morning to get to ask me things on little pieces of paper so they don't talk. But
you need like an office designer.
Yeah. Yeah, I need some help back here. But yeah, it's getting going again. I think Labor Day will be strong, and hopefully the off season. A lot of local traffic's been starting to drive in here. A lot of people that have been going to the mansions, going to Solvay, going down to the beaches. The people that have it's been really good for people that have just moved into the area, because I offer a lot of items that you can decorate a home with, especially like either a man cave, or I offer a lot of different maps and pieces of Newport memorabilia. I wanted to keep it really eclectic in that sense. So a lot of local memorabilia, Narragansett Bay stuff. So
do you guys, what do you guys like sell a lot of? Do people come in looking for like specific items?
I'll tell you the 2 top sellers, and that I would say number 1 is sports cards, and number 2 is Newport memorabilia.
That makes sense.
Very
so
cool.
Sports cards are massive right now.
Absolutely. I would say at least once a week I sell my entire inventory.
Yeah.
And have
Seriously?
to once a week. Someone will come in and just clean me out.
That's
Like, it's
are these like older people or are these young kids?
I would the clientele that's been it's an antique shop, keep in mind, and the clientele that's been coming in here, I'd say, is between the ages of 16 and 35. I've been keeping track of it. That's about the it's a lot of newer, like younger people buying houses, and then a lot of younger collectors.
Wow.
That's been the clientele coming in,
So
which is great.
Sorry. We were interviewing a business yesterday for a video, and they said, you know, when you make changes in your business or when you see the things that you're selling, you need to make sure that you do more of that. Yeah. And so what do you, like when you say we sold sports cards, and God, I forgot the other thing you just said, sports cards.
A lot of Newport memorabilia, maps and pictures, stuff like that.
So what do you think about that comment?
Can you rephrase the question for me again? I don't think I quite understood.
Yeah, so we were interviewing another business, and he was saying, well, when you're thinking about making changes in your business based on your customers, whatever you're doing more of, you should do more of.
Okay.
And so
I got to be honest, I don't take that philosophy because it changes so rapidly to where, like, 1 week I could sell a lot of jewelry and coins, but then the next week I sell sports memorabilia. The next week I sell just anything, because in an antique shop, especially where there's multiple vendors, the inventory changes so rapidly, and I think that's why I get customers that come in twice a week, and it's just always fresh.
Yeah.
So I don't take to if I'm selling a lot of Newport memorabilia, I will go out of my way to make sure that it's stocked. But I don't change anything based on that. I still keep it, because if I fill the whole store with Newport memorabilia, I've cut out a lot of potential on other items that could happen.
How so obviously, like, the collecting scene right now, like I find it fascinating and also not unexpected, for me at least, that you said that a lot of your clientele is younger.
Yeah.
Because it's becoming such a flipping and
it's so mainstream right now.
It's so
mainstream.
Like there are 15-year-old kids that are making like 6 figures buying a bunch of Nikes. And then flipping them. So like this, and obviously sports cards are gigantic right now. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask you your opinion as a collector and somebody who sells collectibles, what you think of NFTs.
I haven't got into NFTs as much because I don't like that it's not physical. The thing I like about collectibles so much is it's like a stock that you can hold. And I've always been into stocks and stock trading too. But I think that's why I got into sports cards so heavy, because it's almost as if you're buying a penny stock of a certain player, and it goes up with trends if, like, the player does well, if the player doesn't do well, or especially the older stuff like the vintage baseball or vintage football, that goes up with trends too. And now with eBay, you have just infinite auctions ending every day, and you can track every item like a stock graph, if it goes up or if it goes down, if it goes up, and you can buy based on trends. And it's become so easy for these kids who are very tech savvy, because they are way more tech savvy than your average, like, 50 or 60-year-old who has a lot of time on their hands. Right. These kids, they can see trends, and now they're getting really smart about it. They're buying the right stuff at the right time, and they're selling the stuff at the right time. I have a high schooler that comes in here that sets up at shows every weekend, and he will bring in like 4-figure sports cards that he's purchased, and he's 15 years old.
Wow.
And it blows me away, because at 15 I wasn't doing anything, and I just turned 25. I'm not that old, but at 15 I wasn't doing anything close to that. I wish I was, but
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's just the trends that, especially with COVID blew the collectible market up because everyone and their mother got into collecting again when there was nothing to do.
Yeah.
And everyone was spending so much time together, like with if they were in the same household as their parents.
Yeah.
So the parents got the kids into it because they wanted an activity to do together. So that's how, like, my online sales before I even owned the store.
Of stamps that I've been holding on to for 50 years, and then it becomes like, oh man, we just made a ton of money on that.
Well, yeah, a lot of parents dug out their old sports cards or their coins or their whatever to show their kids, and then they got into collecting together, and it blew up the market 300 times. It was crazy.
So
I think it's interesting. So like this past week was the end of those unemployment benefits that that so many people have rightly or wrongly vilified as like the reason why there are staff shortages everywhere.
Yeah.
But I keep saying, and I think that like this really needs to be taken into account. A lot of positions that would normally be filled by younger adults and teens are not being filled, and it's not necessarily because like Generation Z is lazy. It's
I disagree. I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying.
They are hustling. They are.
It's crazy.
There's like 50 million people in America in the creator economy, right? Like these people are on TikTok. They're starting Etsy shops. They're flipping. They're doing so many other things.
Yeah.
Because like they want to. They have the time. They have. It's incredible, and this is a testament to that.
Ben, can you define Generation Z for our audience and me?
So Gen Z comes after Millennials. Have you never heard the term Gen Z?
No, I've heard it.
I think me and Ben are Millennial and Danielle's Gen Z.
If I said to you guys, okay, what are the years for baby boomers? Would you know?
1945 to 1966.
Oh, okay. Huh. All right. Good for you. I don't know it.
It might be a little bit longer. It's after World War II.
Right.
Baby boomer, directly after World War II until 60s, early 70s, and then Gen X, and then Millennials start in the 80s and go to like 2000. Yeah. And then everybody born from the beginning of 2000s on is Gen Z.
Gen Z. Wow. Kind of amazing. Just needed to clarify that.
And millennials and Gen Z keep getting vilified. And you look at it and you're like, you would never think that a bunch of like 16 to 30-year-olds are going antiquing, right?
Yeah, and it's not really antiquing. They're coming in here to make money. They're coming in here to see what is underpriced, what can I get for it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, eBay, Etsy, whatever. They're not. I completely agree with what Ben says. I will say there is always going to be that population of people that are lazy. But
absolutely, of course,
there is with every generation. But there's a lot of people would be so stunned to hear that, like this, like especially the 16-year-old that comes into my shop is making thousands of dollars a week just flipping. It's crazy.
And I would think that it's not even. I mean, you could say it's generational, but I don't think it is. But on the other hand, so many people are leaving corporate too. I mean, so you're thinking of even older employees saying, you know what, I moved, I'm working at home, and like in Inc. magazine or Forbes, I mean, the articles are writing about this enlightenment of, I can make money doing other things, or I can make money doing the things I actually love to do. We actually have a client who was on our show that was a graphic designer working in corporate, got laid off during COVID, started making quilts, and now she's like been in every magazine imaginable, and her quilt making is just taking off. I mean, beautiful quilts. It's Matilda Home and our
I remember
show.
speaking to her.
Yeah.
But there's Gary Vaynerchuk does this show sometimes on YouTube called
I
Trash
watch
Talk.
Gary Vee all the time. He's my huge inspiration to me.
I figured he would be, Will.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to step out of this.
But the demographic for this show, Trash Talk, where he goes yard sailing, and he goes to yard sales, he buys like a bunch of stuffed animals or books, and then looks up and like shows you what he's doing at the time, and like looks up on eBay how much they are, finds out what the difference is, and then and makes thousands of dollars every episode with spending like a couple hours on a Saturday hitting a bunch of yard sales. And the demographic for that are these young kids and these older adults who are very disillusioned with their job, who are 45 and hate the grind and hate that they were sold a bill of goods and that their college degree doesn't mean anything, and that they, found out that they can actually like go buy discount t-shirts and then resell them on Amazon. Like it's insane. And I think that a testament to all of this, Will, how old did you say you are?
Just turned 25.
And you own an antique store in Newport?
I do. I'm also I am still a teacher. I'm going into my third year teaching, but I only teach 3 days a week now. I was teaching full time.
What do you teach?
I teach kindergarten through 5th grade music.
Oh, that's awesome. What instruments? Or just music?
Well, it's just general, but I've been a drummer my whole life, so
that's awesome.
That's how but I mean, you need that start. A lot of people are like, oh, I just gonna start this business, but it's a lot harder to be like the capital you need and and a lot of people are able to build it up by just buying and selling, but it's good to have that consistent backbone, especially because you never know what can happen to a small business.
Yeah.
So I actually originally wasn't going to take a teaching job this coming year, but I felt it was good to have that steady job, like in case something ever happened. You just never know.
Yeah. So I have one last question for you or for the team. Can we make a comment on the rumor that Beanie Babies are really, really valuable? Is that true or false?
It is 100% true. It just depends what you have.
Oh, okay.
It's very, very specific. People get really it's with anything, you got to be careful what you look at on eBay, because you never know. Anyone can ask whatever they want, and I'm sure everyone's always aware of that. But you got to look at that sold section on eBay and look up that same Beanie Baby and click that sold listing and see what it actually sold for, and if the auction was paid for. That will indicate if that's really the price it is or not, or at least close to it.
So can we invite you to come back at the end of next summer? And then,
absolutely.
And then we'll see what happened in the next year. So for this summer, we'll say Newport memorabilia and sports cards. And then next year we'll see what the trends are at your shop.
We'll see what happens. You never know with COVID is just influencing everything right now. So you never know if it really levels off where COVID isn't really a concern anymore to anyone. Then my feeling is the collectible market actually might dip. Especially some certain markets I feel might actually dip. But if things are still kind of the way they are right now, where it's teetering, like no one really whatever side you're on, it's still booming. Like the collectibles market is just absolutely booming right now still. And it was a great time to open a place like this because there's so much interest in it.
Perfect time.
In my opinion, anyway.
Speaking of, Will, one last question for me, and that is, you opened up an antique shop in Newport, which in and of itself is a wonderful business venture. But because it's 2021 and because of the pandemic and because of life and the evolution of how you buy and sell things, what does it mean to be able to not only have because you're used to flea markets, like you said, flea markets and sales and shows and stuff like that, but to be able to not only have your physical brick and mortar location, which is so important, especially for collectibles and antiques.
Yeah.
But then to be able to use something like Shop Local Rhode Island as a small business, as a brand new small business, where getting into e-commerce might be a bit of a hurdle. Like, how much does that mean to be able to do both of these things, especially when your clientele skews younger and would be more likely to also look you up online?
Oh, it's huge. It's the whole aspect of taking this store, and I'll say, I think 30 to 40% of my sales for my store so far have been on some form of social media or some form of being online. And to even get the name out there online is huge, because even just last week I sold, I think it was 27 pocket watches to this guy in Pennsylvania. And it was only because I put this listing out on Facebook, and otherwise they'd still be sitting in a showcase here in the store. It's just so huge, for where a lot of people who own antique shops, they're stuck in the way of someone needs to come in here and buy this. It's just not the case. Like, if you want a business like this to succeed, you need avenues online, especially when you go into, like, a lot of businesses in Newport close in mid-January.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to close if you're selling to around the country online.
That's exactly why you started Shop Local. Yay, because you're right. If you can shift, you can shift where they buy from, and don't force them to come to a particular place where they might feel at risk, then
along with I didn't even mention the pandemic aspect, and because there are a lot of people that don't feel comfortable coming out still, so it's great to have this avenue to be able to do this. So I get to any customer who wants to buy from it. It just makes so much sense for every business.
Well, you're letting people browse in your shop, to the extent that, whatever you put up online is just browsing in your shop. Really cool.
Going off of that, I just have a question. So when, like, for these pocket watches, like on Facebook, do you find like a group specifically for like antique pocket watches, or were you just joining like different antique groups?
Yeah, so that's actually what I did. I actually belong to, I think, over 50 different groups now, but it's all very specific items. So, like, I'm in a wristwatch group, a pocket watch group, a silver jewelry group, a gold jewelry group, a coin group, a paper money group, a sports card, like probably 30 different sports card groups for specific sports card. But it reaches your audience so much. Like, why even bother putting it on Facebook Marketplace when you could just put it to already the people that are interested in it, that are already in these groups?
Yeah.
You just join I just joined each group as my business, and I list stuff every day, and it's almost just guaranteeing yourself a sale. I just don't understand why more businesses don't take this avenue and use this more. So
that's so cool. Yeah.
Will, this has been the most important interview, in my opinion, that we've done on this show in a year and a couple months. Like, I think that
I'm flattered.
I think, and not to be disparaging at all to our other wonderful, wonderful guests, but this is like, please everyone take note. This is a 25-year-old entrepreneur who gets it, and there's no reason that you can't do it too.
Yeah.
Like he just said, he doesn't understand why other people can't do it, don't do it, whatever. Be where people are, figure it out, listen to what they want, and like do the research. Earlier, Lori asked, and he said he didn't get trained in this. He spent the time, he did his homework, he watched videos online, he found out more about it, he figured out how to do, like, it's not because he's 25. It's just because, like, you're open to all of it, and like, it's also not just an online business, like you do own an antique shop in Newport, Rhode Island. That's a legitimate thing that you do that would have been respectable 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And is exactly the same now, while also, selling 27 pocket watches, like on
Yeah, in
Facebook.
Pennsylvania, yeah.
This is amazing. Will, thank you so much for being on today.
Oh, thank you guys.
I loved it. I'm going to come and visit you someday and go through everything.
Yeah, we're open for the off season. We're open 6 days a week. We're closed on Tuesdays. But
Okay.
in the summer, I'm open 7 days a week. So
Cool. That's awesome. Well,
Very
we
cool.
wish you the best of luck.
awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. This is fun.
Thank you, Will.
Cool. All right.
Danielle, it was awesome to have you on as well.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
having
you for introducing me to Will.
me. Isn't he awesome?
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Really great.
The store's great. I mean, I've been on there only like 2 times, but it's nice.
Yeah.
Right down the road.
Fascinating. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Danielle, how long have you been at Visual Thrive? Real quick.
Let's see, part-time since April, so like 5-6 months, but now full-time after I graduated in May.
What do you think of Lori as a boss? Don't lie. Don't pretend she's not here.
Lori's great. We love Lori. She's
How
awesome.
could she say anything different?
No, Lori's the worst.
Hold on. Danielle, it's just us.
I know.
Danielle, tell me, what do you think of
She'll
Lori?
see this.
She won't see
She's
it. I
great.
promise she won't see it.
Yes, she will.
Okay, so
Sorry,
No, but-
Danielle. I have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
she didn't. Thank you, Danielle. Danielle, what made you want to get into marketing?
Marketing. I like how you can go with marketing. You really could go into any field. And while I was in school, I really wasn't sure what it was I wanted to do, but I do love talking to people and I do just love the face-to-face interaction. Well, I haven't really had much of that since started working, but I love working with people. I like working on the computer. So far everything's been great.
Danielle was on video set yesterday for the first time.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do in the realm of marketing, like admin, content creation? Like, what's your
Lately, I've really been enjoying content creation on Canva, and I like writing the blogs every week, whether it be for Shop Local or just doing a recap of Business Over Breakfast. Those 2 things have kind of been like quick for me. Yeah.
You and I have never met. What are your first impressions of me watching Business Over Breakfast for months? 'Cause
I know.
I'm so
I get
sorry.
to watch it on the screen every Tuesday morning.
Wait, Ben, go off the screen so you can talk to me.
Yeah. Hold on. You could talk.
All right. Ben can't hear us now. So what do you think of what's your impression of Ben?
Ben also is great. Very enthusiastic. No, you're both very high energy, enthusiastic, which is great.
All right. Thank you very much,
You're so silly today.
Lori, pay her extra this month.
I'll do the best I can. Oh my God.
All right. Well, that's it. Thank you, Danielle. Danielle, let's have you back on at some point.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
will. All right.
Lori, you got a good crew there.
I know. Yes.
You got a good crew. All right. So that's it for this episode. Please check out shoplocalrhodeisland.com. You can find some of Will's amazing collectibles and tons of other things. It's already September. The holidays are right around the corner. There's a bunch of possible Christmas presents on there. When you shop local, you help the local economy. You help small businesses stay open during this difficult time. It's a win-win for everybody.
Thank you, Ben. I have nothing more to say. Really.
Thank
Shop
you.
local, please. It's so important. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Lori, for giving the state this wonderful platform.
Thanks.